Congrats. You have come across the holy grail of down payment assistance. But before we dive into that, answer this one question just for yourself. Why do you have no money to buy a home in the first place? Like, really think about the answer to that question. Because if the answer is budgeting issues, buying a home is not a magic elixir that will somehow fix that. In fact, it probably will exacerbate your financial issues. So, really think about that answer. Pause the episode. Did you? Probably not, but let's get into it. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a website, a government website that will show you all the government down payment assistance programs in your local jurisdiction, all the way down to the city. On top of that, banks have their individual down payment assistance programs as well. Not out of the kindness of the heart, it's due to the Community Reinvestment Act because they discriminated against minorities in the past. So now they have to give money to those communities in order to make good. And guess what, though? You don't actually don't have to be a minority in order to use the programs. You just got to purchase a home in those communities. And last but not least is my favorite website to find down payment assistance. It starts with a G. That's your only hint. Let's get into it. Welcome back to House Rich, the first time homebuyer show where we help millennials figure out how in the world do I buy my first home. Today we're figuring out how to find down payment assistance for you. So first and foremost, this secret government website is a HUD website. It is hud.gov /topics /rental underscore assistance /local. If you're listening on the pod, you're just going to have to listen. I'll be as descriptive as I can. So we're in a website right now that has basically all 50 states plus DC and Puerto Rico. And so you can see we can click on any of these states and it'll show you the down payment assistance programs that they have. So I live in what the locals call the great state of Texas. So we're going to start there. So click on Texas. And it will take us to this website that shows some nice cookie cutter homes. You know, nothing says Texas like cookie cutter homes, right? And there's a lot of things on the site. There's new updated information. There's local resources. We see a tab for HUD homes for sale. That's interesting because it'll show you how to buy homes for $1. Subsidized apartment searches. So there's help with apartments, rental assistance, home buying programs, multifamily housing. Everybody's favorite, right? You just buy a 4 unit magically, kick your feet up, live rent free. It's a total easy, stress-free process according to the internet. Then there's a library with more information. We're going to click on home buying programs. Click. Now, so we're in Texas and the website has even more information for you. So there's Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, homebuyer programs, down payment assistance, and closing cost programs. You can find out some information there. They have a website for Habitat for Humanity. What they do is they'll build you a home, not anywhere in certain areas at a discounted price, essentially. They get subsidizing and they get assistance from the government to build you nice homes in areas you may not otherwise be able to build a home. But it's not like it's not anywhere. I'll just say that. There's USDA loans. There's information on that. If you don't know what a USDA loan is, it's a 0% down loan program that is in rural areas. Not to be confused with all being the boonies. Like I'm here in the Dallas market, and you can find USDA zone areas like 10, 15 minutes outside of the city because it's really just areas with less than 35,000 people. But here's another trick or thing that folks don't realize. In cities like Texas and areas like DFW, excuse me, that have been growing super rapidly, the census data is from the year before. So there's some areas like in Frisco, which is a popular suburb, where like the average home price is like $650,000, where you can find USDA zone areas like 5 to 10 minutes outside of Frisco. We have the Veteran Landlords Housing Assistance Program. That's for vets. And then there's a T-Shack, which is another popular down payment assistance program here in Texas. And you can see they've broken down the programs by city/town. So you can see a bunch of cities here in Texas. We have Dallas, Fort Worth, El Paso, Frisco, as I mentioned, wealthy suburb, Laredo, all the way down on the border. Midland, that's where you get the term like fair to Midland from, is there. Odessa, where No Country for Old Men was shot, and some other locations. It also breaks the programs down by county. So there's more than 3 counties in Texas. obviously, I think, but all counties don't have programs, but these are the counties with the program. So let's click on Dallas. Click. And so you do have to do a little bit more research depending on the website, but Dallas has a website that'll show you where you can find down payment assistance programs. So housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, home investment partnership programs, home. So there's other programs here on the Dallas website. You have to do a little bit of digging. So your local area may go straight to those programs for the city, or you may have to do a little bit of digging. But I always like to point out, like, down payment assistance programs are not just for like poor areas, right? Or you think like the inner city or something like that. So as I mentioned, Frisco is a city that's almost always on like the best places to live. Like the PGA of North America just moved their headquarters there. There's like two world class, literally world class 32 hole golf courses. Universal Studios just is building a new theme park there. There's a lot of stuff going on in Frisco. Once again, the average home price there is about $650,000. But you can see they have down payment assistance programs right on their website. And so you can kind of scroll from there. It shows you how to apply for certain down payment assistance programs. Of course, there's restrictions based on where you may be. And so I'm going to click on the down payment assistance program for the county, Travis County, which is the county where Austin, the state capital, is located. So they have Homebuyer assistance. They have the Austin Urban League. Once again, Habitat for Humanity has popped up. Austin Housing Finance Corporation, etc. So you can see there's various resources. You just have to go and find your city and then kind of drill down from there. So once again, it may not be right in your face, but it's showing you what's available in your area. Now let's jump back real quick to that those $1 homes. So once again, this is the HUD link from right here, HUD Homes for Sale. And so you can kind of see, and based on certain areas, you can click on there, or you can put in a county, city, a zip code, and find HUD homes that are currently for sale. And some are as low as like $1, supposedly. I doubt those $1 homes are going to be in like super desirable areas, but who knows? Worst thing you can do is click on it and find out, right? So that's the HUD website in order to find all the government sponsored down payment assistance programs. Now, let's talk about the Community Reinvestment Act, as I alluded to before. So, believe it or not, there was discrimination back in the, or some would say it's still going on now, but back in the pre-1968, definitely, where it was literally illegal for, or it was literally government policy to not lend to minorities. Like the FHA, it was a policy to not lend to minorities in certain areas. That's what's called redlining. They literally put red lines on the map and said, do not lend there. So the Fair Housing Act of 1968 was passed in, can you guess the year? 1968. And part of it was putting together the Community Reinvestment Act, which is for these banks and lenders to reinvest back into the communities they once discriminated in. And so let's talk about the Community Reinvestment Act. It was enacted in 1977 and requires the Federal Reserve and other federal banking regulators to encourage financial institutions to help meet credit needs of the communities in which they do business, including low and moderate income neighborhoods. So that's important for you to know, because most banks have these programs when it comes to helping folks purchase homes. And so how do you find out if your bank has this program? Literally just ask. Say, hey, do you have any down payment assistance programs as part of your Community Reinvestment Act? Some will just volunteer them. Some will, you have to like pry it out of them, because sometimes like people won't know about those programs even at the bank. You'd be surprised how unknowledgeable, or you probably are not surprised about how unknowledgeable certain people are. So I found this website called it's mass.gov, as in Massachusetts, and it basically lists out the ratings for down payment, or excuse me, for the Community Reinvestment Act programs for certain banks. So you kind of see, I'm just in the age right here, but you can see Academy Mortgage Corporation in Sandy, Utah. They have a satisfactory rating. So if they have a satisfactory rating, more likely than not, they have some sort of program to potentially assist you. You can see they're in alphabetical order. It lists all sorts of companies down there. But that's a decent website. You can see Zillow is at the bottom with the Z. But here's a very, very good website. I think it's a better website. It is It is the Federal Financial Institution Examination Council, also known as the FFIEC. And what they've done is they've listed a basically a search engine so that you can look at the ratings of these programs. So let's check this one out. And so as you go here to the search bar, you can see you can literally search by city. So if you're like, hey, I'm in Dallas, what banks and lenders have community reinvestment programs in the area? So you'll search, and what you'll see is they only do 250 search options. So if that area has more than 250, you're kind of out of luck. So you have to narrow it down a little bit more on top of that. So you can maybe add like the bank's name or something like that. But if you're in like a smaller city, like let's say Mesquite, which is right outside of Dallas, and also if the bank has stuff in Mesquite, they probably have it in Dallas too. So let's look at Mesquite, which basically borders Dallas, and you can see there's 14 matches. First State Bank has some. Mesquite National Bank and Northeast National Bank have these Community Reinvestment Act ratings. So all the ratings are satisfactory. So that means that most likely to have some sort of program. So once again, just ask the lender if they have those programs. And last but not least, how do you find down payment assistance programs? So we're going to go to Google and type this in. Down payment assistance programs. So I typed in Dallas plus down payment assistance programs. Like pretty simple, right? You'd be surprised how many people don't take that basic step in order to find out what's out there. And so you can see, boom, what popped up? Dallas Home Buyer Assistance Program. I think we saw that on the previous site when we looked for Dallas. Home Buying Assistance Program, Home Buying Assistance in Dallas Fort Worth. That's the T-Shack program we saw earlier on the HUD website. Down payment assistance programs, First Texas Bank, most likely this is. There's Dallas County. See, what you want to do is look at like .org and .gov websites, but also like, lenders will list their stuff here as well. There's a news article for down payment assistance program. So that's the easiest way to find it is just to Google down payment assistance programs plus your city. You can do it by city, you can do it by county, you can do it by state as well. But you can kind of see all of these options for Texas. And once again, focusing on .gov and .org websites, but you can check out the other ones from banks as well. And so Dallas Habitat for Humanity. So right, these are the ones we saw on these government websites as well. So there you go. So we got the HUD website. We're looking for Community Reinvestment Act, and we're looking at our favorite search engine, which is Google. So if you got some value out of that, definitely share it with a friend because each one teach one or sharing is caring, something like that, right? That's all I got. But as always, buy land. Rumor has it they're not making any more of it, huh?